Oh man, we have a minigame showdown. Would you prefer 10 minigames or 11 minigames? I just couldn't stay away from Mario Party E. This obscure, rare, expensive money pit of a Mario Party game. I mean, I've not played every Mario Party. I'm sure this is the worst. I mean, we're giving Mario Party 10 a run for its money. I mean, at least this is an actual Mario Party game. This is just taking up space. Now, I've already talked about Mario Party E, some of its, history and its development. It's a North American exclusive game. A lot of the assets are based on Mario Party 4. I mean, this is the spitting image of the box art of Mario Party 4. But I want to talk about these mini games. I didn't go in depth on the mini games when I talked about Mario Party E because I just kind of wanted to experience it for the first time. I only tried out 2 mini games there, which is almost a fifth of them. But I wanted to give all these mini games a shot, and I wanted to rank them to see what Mario Party E truly had to offer. And what it had to offer was nothing special. So we're going to go ahead and rank from last to first the Mario Party E minigames. And let me tell you, the bottom of the list is pretty brutal. Now, to actually play these minigames, a few things are required. You need a Game Boy Advance. I used a DS Lite as my Game Boy Advance because it works with the e-reader. Speaking of which, the e-reader, this pointless accessory that was used to scan tie-in cards for the Game Boy Advance, sure, at this point, it's a pretty niche product, almost like a predecessor to Amiibo, if you really want to consider it that. And then, of course, you need the cards that have the mini games from Mario Party E. And so you can play Mario Party E without touching these mini games. It's really funny. To settle any of those mini game cards, all you have to do is flip a coin. And honestly, I think I'd rather flip a coin than play half of these mini games. So you know what? Take that what you will. But let's go through and rank these pieces of garbage. Last place is easily Lakitu's Luck. This is not a mini game. This is a roulette wheel based on Lakitu. It is so bland looking, and it's not a mini game. This is one of the ones I would rather flip a coin because it is so pointless to call this a mini game. There's nothing even to say about it. But yeah, this is more of a Mario Party space than a Mario Party mini game. So the fact that this counts as a mini game is pretty atrocious. But not too far behind is Spinster Bowser. Guess what? It's another freaking roulette wheel. But at least this one is based on Bowser, so it has a nicer design. But yeah, this is a Bowser space on a card, and they called it a mini game. This is not a mini game. What are we doing, Mario Party E? I mean, honestly, you could have done anything but what these were. Or if you just didn't count these as mini games and they were just interactive spaces that you would encounter on Mario Party board, I think that would have been way more acceptable. But the fact that we're calling this a mini game leaves this with no excuses. This is terrible. Next up, we have Fast Feed Yoshi. This is nothing special. We're out of the roulette wheels, but barely. I mean, this is technically another roulette wheel if you think about it, where you have to try and get the coins. The spinning objects are so fast that it's really just random, so it might as well just be a roulette wheel. You have to get 2 coins to succeed in the mini game. You either get 1 coin, 2 coins, or a shy guy anytime you stick your tongue out. If you don't get 2 coins, you lose. If you get 2 coins at any point, you win. Very simple, very much not good, very much just another roulette wheel, just without the roulette. From this point on, we at least have actual mini games. Thank goodness, because when I played those previous 3, I was in the dumps. I was livid. So the fact that we at least have a mini game with Mario's Mallet is a big step in the right direction. Mario's Mallet is an okay mini game, but man, I have some issues with it. So your whole premise is you're trying to hit the Goombas that come out of the warp pipe and not hit Luigi when he sticks his head out of the warp pipe. Couple issues here. One, the number of Goombas they require you to hit are insane. They range anywhere from like 11 to like 26, which is just kind of ridiculous, especially when you consider that Luigi looks pretty dang similar to the Goombas. And so to make sure you're doing it at a good pace, you're very easily gonna accidentally hit Luigi. So that's not really good. And so the fact that Luigi looks like a Goomba and I'm supposed to hit 26 Goombas, and this is all on my first try, right? If you play this and you have not practiced a few times, there's no chance you're gonna get this. And so the fact that they expect you to just kind of jump in and do this right and get up to 20 something Goombas, it's not good. I can't justify having this higher. I actually originally had this higher than the next one, but you know, split second choice, I was like, I would rather play the other one. Mario's Mallet, you know, kind of dumb. But then we have Castaway Mario. This is a very simple mini game. Honestly, this is close to Fast Feed Yoshi in terms of what it is, but it's at least a little better and requires a little more skill. So you're trying to get whatever certain fish that the game tells you to get. You have to just dodge the other fish to make sure you get the right one. So it's all about timing, and at least it requires some timing, some skill. Also kind of sucks. I feel like all these mini games require practice. I don't think all of them give you a built-in practice. Some of them do. Yeah, this is very simple, but if you don't practice, it's very easy to mess up the timing, especially because you have to hold A to lower the line. Once you lower the line, it's gonna keep going until it gets something. If you didn't time it right, you're gonna have to sit through until you get that bottom crab, if that's what it goes to, and you will lose. Pretty simple. At least it's not just luck like Fast Feed Yoshi, so that's good. Also, nothing too crazy to call it any game, but at least it is a mini game. I think we are entering a new tier of Mario Party E mini games. Honestly, everything from this mini game forward is at least a 4 out of 10. So at least it's a mini game with something to do. And that first one is going to be Daisy's Rodeo. Daisy's Rodeo, number 7. You know, it's not a long mini game. It lasts up to 10 seconds. But you know what? You're following the button prompts on the screen to make sure Daisy stays on the bowl. It's pretty simple. I was trying to record myself playing this game, so the input lag from looking at my DS screen through my camera made it impossible to play. So I had to really focus on looking on the actual DS. But yeah, you know, it's simple. It's not long. Thank goodness it's not long. Some of these mini games are just suffering. This is at least a mini game. It requires pressing certain buttons, and yeah, it has Daisy. That's cool. All right, number 6. I think this is easily the most party game out of all of these Mario Party E mini games, and that is Balloon Burst. This is very similar to Don't Wake Up the Wiggler. You know, it's you're trying to push your luck and take turns, in this case, inflating a balloon, and whoever the balloon pops on loses. So that is classic party game. You know, you're going back and forth with your opponent, and it's simple, but it gets the job done. I will say, the first person that goes to blow out the balloon, there is a limit to how much they can inflate the balloon with air. So you can't just go all the way to right before the end with player 1. Player 1 has a limit, and then player 2 gets to go. That limit's about halfway of the balloon. So then player 2 can get pretty close to without bursting it, and then you kind of go back and forth from there. It doesn't feel like you're gonna get a different mini game each time you play this mini game. So, you know, because you're not. But you know what? This feels like a party game, at least. For that, I can accept it. Thank you, Balloon Burst. All right, number 4. Time Bomb Ticks. I will say this is actually a really good use of a small handheld to do a mini game. You know, all you're doing is pressing the numbers in order. You're pressing the numbers 1 through 16 in order, but they're randomized on the screen, and you have to use your D-pad to kind of go to each number, press A to click the number, and basically whoever does it faster out of the two of you wins. I think this is a pretty good use of the handheld. Like I said, I think it's nothing too crazy. It's nothing too insane. Instead of the time limit, it's more of you're going as fast as you can and you're creating the time limit for your opponent. And so I think that part is really unique. Out of all these mini games, you play as Waluigi, which is fun. I love Waluigi. And yeah, it's a pretty simple mini game. I think this one is probably one of the ones that are most like a party game as well, following Balloon Burst. And I think it does a good job as a mini game in the handheld form. Oh man, we have our top 3. Number 3, Waluigi's Reign. This is a pretty simple. You're just moving and dodging. You're not jumping, you're not doing anything. And again, it's you versus an opponent. You're trying to collect as many coins as you can. You'll see red coins that are worth more as you're playing the game. It lasts 20 seconds or until you get hit with a hammer. Pretty simple. This feels like Mario, you know? I would say this is one of the better ones. I think it honestly kind of reminds me of like Mario versus Donkey Kong, or even the original Donkey Kong arcade game with falling things. In terms of design, it looks a lot like the Mario versus Donkey Kong on Game Boy Advance. But yeah, I think overall this is a good job. Pretty simple. 20 seconds seems like a good amount of time for a mini game to last. It's not too long. It's not too short. I'm gonna get the job done. So you know what? Waluigi's Reign, I'll take it. All right, number 2, Wario's Bluff. This is, I will say, this is a pretty satisfying game to play. You're trying to push your luck on a motorcycle, and you're accelerating and braking to get as close to the cliff as possible. So your goal is to not go off the cliff, obviously, but you want to get closer than your opponent. And it's a real fun back and forth. I think the fact that the game gives you a built-in break does make it easier. Would it have been better without the break? I think it would have been dumber. I don't know if it would have been better. Yeah, I would say Wario's Bluff, you know, it's a good idea for a mini game, especially a Mario Party mini game. It feels like a Mario Party game. Aesthetically, it looks really nice. I think it's one of the nicer looking games that we have in Mario Party E. And yeah, honestly, it's just, like I said, it's very satisfying to get close to the edge. I think I got, you know, 5 feet or less at one point. So that was really exciting. If that's really exciting, I mean, if I'm getting excited about Mario Party E, we're looking down. Things are looking bad. But yeah, Wario's Bluff, overall pretty good mini game. I would say it's fun enough for what it is. But that leaves us with number 1, Bolt from Boo. You know, I was actually kind of torn between this and Wario's Bluff. I think they both achieve similar things with that bluffing mechanic. In this case, you're bluffing for how fast you can get away from Boo. And honestly, I think the components involved with Bolt from Boo are a little better game-wise than Wario's Bluff. Like I said, I think Wario's Bluff is easier in the sense that you have that built-in break. And so Bolt from Boo, you know, you're bolting, you're running away from Boo. Every time you're facing him, just like Boo's behave in regular Mario games, he starts to kind of back away and stop. So you have to kind of balance out looking at him and stopping from running forward. To run, you're alternating between A and B. And so you know what? It's a little more dynamic than what you're doing in Wario's Bluff. And so kind of that balancing act between looking at Boo and running, you're trying to get to the door as fast as possible and faster than your opponent. Honestly, I think as a mini game, especially for Mario Party E, I have to give number 1 to Bolt from Boo. I think it just aesthetically looks the best out of all these mini games. You know, the backgrounds are nice, escaping from Boo looks nice. Yeah, I think the sprites look good. Honestly, this is, in my opinion, the best Mario Party E mini game. These all suck though. Yeah, honestly, these mini games are not very good overall. I would say the top few of them are at least okay for a Mario Party on a handheld system, but the fact that I have to go through all this trouble, you know, scanning these cards on both sides into an e-reader just to play Bolt from Boo is kind of a headache, really, if I want to be honest. None of these games are so special that I shouldn't just go play Mario Party Advance or any of the Mario Party games on handheld. If I really want a handheld Mario Party game, I can play any of the ones that came out on the DS or 3DS and get something better. Yeah, Mario Party E is it's a cute thing. This game is very cute. The fact that this thing exists is awesome. I'm so happy I own it. But man, this game sucks. This is awful. Like I said, I mean, the fact that this Mario Party game has 11 total mini games and 3 of them are basically just roulette wheels is really bad. It's really, really bad. And so I wouldn't recommend playing Mario Party E. I wouldn't recommend spending money to get this like I did. I'm happy. Like I said, I'm really happy to own it. I kind of wasted a lot of money on it. But yeah, so that's ranking Mario Party E mini games. One funny thing I just noticed is how I ranked these. In last were the Wonder Challenges, which, you know, makes sense. There were both of the roulette wheels. Then I didn't take this into account at all, what kind of challenge these were, but I naturally put all of the free challenges as the next in line for the mini game ranking. And then lastly, we had the dual challenges, which were the best. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny to notice that. Obviously, they did their best with the dual challenges. I'm going to be critical still because they call these challenges. They consider these mini games, these Wonder Challenges, they consider these mini games. And so, yeah, they get ranked next to these dual challenges and they get ranked for sucking. Free challenges, they're all right. You know, it's just you playing, so it's, you know, it's not bad. But yeah, the dual challenges are easily the best out of all of these. So that ranking totally makes sense. Perhaps I treated you too harshly, Kirby Battle Royale.